Jerry Jones, which is really nice of him, as the owner and GM, has a weekly radio hit on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas. And that's a station I've appeared on, and there are great hosts there. It is an Audacy. I think that's who owns it. It's a quality show, a quality sports market. And yesterday, Jerry Jones basically threatened the job of these three radio hosts. And I thought it was a bit until I dug a little deeper and listened a little longer and saw the reactions of the hosts after and realized none of it was a bit. Jerry Jones has damn near lost his mind.
Not your job. Your job isn't to let me go over all the reasons that I did something and I'm sorry that I did it. That's not your job.
Well, my job is to ask why.
A job, or I'll get somebody else to ask these questions, man.
Jerry, we're trying to figure out why the team is.
I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. You're not going to figure out what the team is doing right or wrong. If you are, or any 5 or 10 like you, you need to come to this meeting I'm going to today. There are 32 teams here. You're geniuses.
Jerry,
okay? Y'all really think you're going to sit here with a microphone and tell me all of the things that I've done wrong and without going over the rights?
Boy, that sounds like old man grumpiness, doesn't it? Jerry Jones sounds 82 in that. He sounds like he's struggling to hold on to a vision of himself and his team that just doesn't exist anymore. And it is very common for octogenarians, powerful octogenarians, those who are surrounded by sycophants, to lash out when they get the feeling that something's not going their way. It's why the majority of owners don't talk to the media. So I give him credit as a GM going on radio. It's not easy. But here's the thing. When you've got a fan base who recognizes that they want better because, for all intents and purposes, the ownership for 25 years has been a failure, you got to have a little bit better diplomacy. So Jerry Jones had to react because this became a big story yesterday. Many, many times I've spoken to stations about DJs, about on-air talent, about broadcasters, had the conversation with our partners. We don't like to be criticized. We don't want to have this discussed. It's the old Jack Nicholson from A Few Good Men. Why don't you stand a post instead of standing there and throwing strays at me? Why don't you try running a team? You've never done this before. That used to be one of my favorite lines. You've never run a team. Happens to be true. It's a mic drop moment. So many people in this industry, in the media industry, think that they know how to run a team and they don't. They're certainly good at critiquing it, but they don't know how to do it. Sort of like saying to a pilot, man, can't you avoid the turbulence? I'm getting plane sick. Well, no, not exactly. Well, you stink. No, not really. Jerry Jones may or may not be a good GM. I would argue that he should have fired himself about a decade ago. He may or may not be a good owner. I would argue he's a fantastic owner. Look at the value of his team. Though I agree that maybe another ring would be good, but it's not like he has none. So I do not argue for Jerry Jones being a bad owner for the city of Dallas and the community of Dallas-Fort Worth. However, there is absolutely no reason for him under any scenario to get into it and to play the power card over media members. You got to know that you can bridge your answer. If someone is questioning you, say, man, I got those same questions. This is outrageously unacceptable. We need to be better. I was so ashamed and embarrassed last weekend with our loss to the Lions that I'm not sleeping. I know the fans are angry. I know that you've got plenty to talk about during your time on the radio. But let me tell you, other than these 15 minutes, there's not a minute that I do anything else but think about how to make the Cowboys better. So many different ways he could have gone, but he went with the way. Then, of course, he had to comment later and said, I wouldn't go as far as saying the volume is, I wasn't yelling, But the facts are that if I'm going to be grilled by the tribunal, I don't need it to be the guys I'm paying. I can take it from fans and take it from other people. Is he paying their salaries? This would be news to me. So someone out there tell me, does Jerry Jones own 105.3? Is Jerry Jones partners with 105.3? He's got the Jerry Jones show, but I would think that the Cowboys likely get paid for his appearance, not that he pays them. Now, that would be fascinating. If Jerry Jones is paying for that 15 minutes of radio because he so badly wants to do the weekly show. That would be like a manager or player or me or anybody paying to be on a show. No, we get paid to be on shows. Appearance fees. Very bizarre. Now, with TV broadcasters in baseball, I could argue, or radio broadcasters in baseball who are employees of the team, or TV broadcasters who we have the right to hire and fire under our contracts, then I could say, hey, I'm paying you. Shut the yapper. Don't comment on things that are happening in my personal or professional life. That's all legitimate for an owner to do. But talking about radio hosts on the team's flagship network, I don't see any privity of any kind. If I'm the radio hosts, I would keep going after him the way they did on Twitter last night on X. If I'm Jerry Jones, next week when I'm on the show, A, I hope I'm coming off a win, but B, I am going to be slightly more humble. Jerry Jones, humble. Collision course, negative.